Yeah. Let's go. Feeling frosty. What's up, sons? I'm in chill mode, sitting down, listening to some tunes. Before we get into the AMA portion of this, though, we do have breaking news coming from Watcher News, watcher.guru, one of the best places to grab a bunch of information as far as Ethereum. We had the Goerli test network success, and that does mean it looks like the Ethereum merge is moving up a few days from September 19th to potentially all the way to September 15th. Here's the articles covering it. It does say, during the late hours of Wednesday, the Ethereum network successfully underwent its final dress rehearsal. The network's third public testnet, Goerli, finally made its transition from proof-of-work consensus mechanism to proof-of-stake. As reported recently, the transition took place when the terminal total difficulty exceeded 10,790,000. And you can see a tweet from Marius here saying, we finalized on Goerli. There was some confusion on the network because of two different terminal blocks and a lot of non-updated nodes. So we didn't finalize earlier. We're still looking into what's happening, but so far it looks quite good. Testnets on their part offer developers a test environment to try new updates and changes to a blockchain network. So now with Robson, Sepolia, and Goerli trial merge already completed successfully, Ethereum is on the verge of executing the actual merge on its mainnet. Now, according to the recent announcement, Ethereum's merge is tentatively expected to be between September 15th and 16th of the year 2022. And now it does say the estimated date could extend up to the 20th of September. They haven't set a block height yet. But as you guys know, post-merge, Ethereum activity will be moved over to the Beacon chain, and the same will mark the beginning for a new era where Ethereum will leave behind one consensus mechanism and begin a new one. Now, from what I saw here, too, on a little bit of the dev call, is there seems to be some confusion and a pretty low success rate, down to 63%. And I'm not necessarily sure this is going to pan out good, but it sounds like regardless of the success rate of this and the amount of participating nodes, that they are going to hammer fist this in and continue through. So be very careful where and how long you hold your Ethereum. Financial advice, of course, being withheld, because I do not provide financial advice, just paying attention to what's going on the network and relaying that information to y'all. So let's get into the Q&A, and as always, super chats are never required, always appreciated first to be answered. Sorry for not being able to do the Q&A for the live stream today, so this is the catch up on that. And if you didn't make it for the live stream of this AMA portion for today, I apologize. It is what it is. I had to get my workout in. We don't skip jujitsu. We don't do it. And that is how we stay in shape and stay healthy mentally and physically over here in the Soat House. So I want to welcome everybody that's stopping in. We have Patrick says, welcome back. Thank you, good sir. Fried Electronics was asking about BT miners. They are not a current sponsor, but they do have an affiliate link down below, but there is no discount. The biggest discount I have for ASIC miners right now is pinned on the live chat as well as in the description, and that is with Coastal Crypto Mining. If you use promo code SOAT, S-O-A-T, at checkout, you can get 5% off your ASIC or GPU purchase, because they do have GPUs over there as well. Now, one of the special things about them is they do include all of the VAT fees. So I would highly encourage you to be a little bit more cautious when ordering from any sort of ASIC supplier, and double check the prices after you've added to cart, etc. For example, it becomes a lot more competitive than you think at first glance if you look at Coastal Crypto Mining and you add in not only the promo code, but you add in the VAT fees on somewhere like, for example, BT Miners. So double check all of your, actual order costs before going through with them on all of the websites. The reason why I support BT Miners and Coastal Crypto Mining is because I have personally ordered and worked with both companies, and I have actually received my items. That can't be said for every single ASIC company that's out there. As far as the rest of the questions go, we have Dragon Audio said, seen your fridge yesterday. Do you still ride MX or ATV? I was a motocross kid growing up. I raced until I was 25, and then I broke both of my hips in a bilateral dislocation and fracture. And I kind of took some time off. Pretty much haven't ridden dirt since then, other than here and there. I did ride a little bit while I was a mechanic, because I was a mechanic for 7 years. A motorcycle mechanic. AliExpress says, Adam says, AliExpress has a bunch of good deals for that stuff, much cheaper than the thermal pads. So, Son of a Tech, what are you going to do money-wise if nothing is profitable after ETH proof of stake and you need to pay rent? Well, we're going to figure it out. There are other options. We have this proofs deal to definitely take a look at. We have, options for taking on, of course, more work in the realm of IT that I could always do. I would prefer to at least keep it contract so that I'm not diving too deep into that. But I also live kind of day to day, because if I get too distracted with worry, etc., then I can't be successful in what I'm trying to accomplish for the day. Toll PC Lab says, Ask Summit Tech, did you see the new Simple Mining OS? No, I haven't checked out the new one. I'll definitely have to. Thanks for the reminder. Fried Electronics says, Ask Summit Tech, I just checked out Coastal versus BT. Coastal is more expensive for the iPolo V1 Mini, so probably once again, we already kind of covered that, so double check it. Adam says, at Son of a Tech, check out this thermal paste deal. DigiKey TGN909 is the part number, 9 MBTU, and is 30 grams of thermal paste. Okay. Toll PC Lab says, at Son of a Tech, yeah, we already answered that. Let's try not to do double questions so that we can get through this and make sure everybody's questions are answered. I will get through them. I do scroll through. Anything and everything. Thanks for the $2.99 super sticker, boosting that algorithm, good sir. Tommy T says, could date change if massive drop in hash rate after the 5 gigabyte DAG is reached? So I think that it's not so much of a concern of the amount of hash rate on the network right now, because there hasn't been a block height announced. So if it was the case that they announced a block height and then hash rate came off of the network, it could adjust to where it could be extended out longer, correct? But if the reason probably they haven't announced a block height, to be completely frank, is that they don't want that exact scenario to take place, meaning that they will probably announce the block height pretty last minute once they see how the hash rate is going to pan out. Now that the DAG has been above 4 gigabytes for quite some time, there are not a lot of 5 gigabyte GPUs on the network. So the kicking off of 5 gigabyte GPUs is not something that I would necessarily be worried about. L Dude says, Ask Simon Tech, are you still bullish on ETH over the long term? No, I never have been over the long term. Do you recommend trading in for BTC? I don't recommend doing anything because I don't provide financial advice. Personally, I think that ETH is on a good run up, obviously, until the merge. And then post-merge, I would not be too bullish on it personally. Akuna Matata says, at SimonTech.dad file for ETH exceed, or the DAG file for 5 gigabytes on August 15th. Yeah, we already covered that. We have a super chat, which takes priority from Mr. Custom Computing for $5 Canadian. Says, instead of renting massive warehouse with no thermal management, would you ever think of building your own shed or structure with proper thermals? Well, we are working on thermals. It's just a matter of actually getting the work done, which if you've been dealing with anything in any sort of industry right now, you know is kind of the holdup for everything. And technically, we do have 800 amps of phase 3 coming in the same location. So it's a little bit of a different situation than just moving into a shed or something. Because what we're looking at is expanding to much larger than what you would be able to necessarily do with that sort of setup, right? Supervilc says, Ask Savatech, taking into account the coming merge and other turbulences, is it safe to store ETH as WETH in Polygon network rather than mainnet? Are there any risks involved compared to mainnet? There are additional risks to holding wrapped ETH on like a separate network, whether that be Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, etc., because now you're not necessarily just dependent on the Ethereum network, but you're dependent on another network with devs and so on to make sure that they transition during the merge properly. And seeing that they had low Goerli testnet participation, if that translates over into, of course, the mainnet merge, which you would hope it would not, you could have, of course, certain services, etc., be down for some time. And the risk you run there is if you have your services down in Polygon and there are issues with the merge and people start dumping the ETH, you're not going to be able to get your ETH out in time. Personally, I will probably move all of my ETH to a more stable chain that's not making a massive consensus mechanism change prior to the merge. But up until the merge, I would probably keep most of my ETH because it will just go up basically on the news of the merge. Personally, kind of how I'm looking at it, right? Should you buy, says Ask Savatech, on what to mine I adjusted difficulty to 5x and exchange rates to mid-2023 future prices. What I found was not encouraging. Your thoughts on that, please. As far as trying to future project any other network, it seems quite impossible and futile to even perform that kind of mechanism. Once again, I'd focus on the things I can do now, not on the future. And so if you can, increase your profitability or your revenue right now, focus on those things. And then, yes, we do have to take into account the future, but at the same time, like if you're just getting distracted and not having a game plan and just worried about it, your best bet, is obviously if you want to get out of mining right now would be probably your last chance before the merge, right? But we do have questions surrounding, of course, a lot of other things as far as shortages for silicon and so on. Earl Larson says, Ask Savatech, how would you mine Neta or ErgoPad to your node? You couldn't do it to a solo node unless, of course, you set up some sort of partnership and smart contract with a specific entity that is a token. And the reason why they are on get block is because that they have cut basically smart contract deals to facilitate that. Knowledge is power, says, at Son of Attack, have you whispered your phrases yet into the ear of your victim when submitting them in BJJ? No, I haven't. Daniel Ring says, at Son of Attack, I have finally enough GPUs to make up a rig. Would you trust those $260 eBay cases PSU motherboard combos? Not necessarily, no, because it's mainly going to be on the power supply portion of that I would worry about. If you could find a good power supply replacement for it, maybe they become viable, but I definitely wouldn't trust the power supply. Anything and everything says, that Son of a Tech, are you still looking at adding power now that the ETH merge will occur? Yes, I am. Is that a good business strategy? Well, if you do it now and accumulate during the bear market and you diversify the amount of coins and access you have to different coins, then yes, it is. And which coin am I most bullish on? Probably going to be Ergo at this time. Simpson says, at Son of a Tech, any good CPU mineable coins you recommend? Not currently right now. I think you could look at Darrow. I think that there is, of course, with the new interoperability with ETH coming up that Varus coin is one to take a look at as well, potentially, but nothing I'm super into. Obviously, like Monero's kind of the go-to, but I realize as far as from a profitability standpoint, that's not something I would really focus on. I think Monero is one you focus on for power to the people, though. So throwing some hash rate and helping secure Monero is definitely maybe a little altruistic, sure, but probably the best for humanity, if that makes sense. Danny says, Ask Tech, hi, thank you for all the info and work you put into it. Thanks for watching, man. Says, I started mining last year. However, I pay electric out of pocket. At the moment, I'm sitting on money in this situation. Would you start buying or wait? That's really going to be up to you. Like I said, I'm still going to carry through with my expansion plans and so on, pricing being cheap and getting it in before things get a little too crazy on prices, right? K-Man says, at Tech, do you think that the Ethereum developers are ignoring risks? DDoS attacks of validators, reordering block issues as yesterday for the sake of finally pushing through proof of stake. Yes, I do think they're ignoring risks, and that is why, like I said, pre-merge, I will take all of my ETH out and put it on a more stable network in preparation for the merge. Adam says, Ask Tech, price for that thermal paste is $14 before shipping and $21 after shipping. I don't buy thermal grizzly. The only thermal paste I use, honestly, is Arctic MX4, just because you can get the big tubes for cheap. Amigos PC says, Ask Tech, can I get your Octominer referral link? I can get that out. I thought it was linked down below, but I know that they had recently sent me a new one. They were setting it up. I'll probably have to see if I can go find that again. Give me a second, and I will definitely get that for you. Michael Perk says, Ask Tech, do you mine Ergo on efficient GPU? What do you mean by that? I don't really understand the question, to be honest. Excuse me. Really haven't seen Chili around in a while either, which is, I know that they're pretty busy over there. Hey, 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 goodbye. I am missing the affiliate link now. All right, we may have to get that for you after I figure out. Oh, no, I found it. No. Yeah, okay. Because they put the link in this weird spot. Thought it was in my description, but apparently not, so we need to update that for sure. That didn't work. Well, color me confused. We will figure this out later. All right, let's get back to questions and answers. I'm sorry, amigos, I can't get that for you right this second. It should be on one of my Octominer videos, though. But I realize there's lots of Octominer videos. What's up, son? What's up, sons? Yeah, there we go. I finally did it. All right. I can't get into my affiliate account right now, but what are you going to do? All right. So let's see here. Where were we looking at as far as all this goes? Michael Perks says, ask Cyvatech, do you mind Ergo? I don't understand that. I think we were waiting for him to come back with what he meant by that. Knowledge is power says, ask Cyvatech, why does it feel like Ergo isn't really known about? Because it's not. They aren't really listed anywhere. Are they just focusing on code right now? Exactly. And then marketing later. Yeah, there's no reason for them to do, like, I don't think that Kushti is really the type to go into the marketing heavy form of blockchain. They're a lot more get the tech out, right? So I think that's really what they're focusing on. Anything and everything says, ask Cyvatech, what have you accomplished regarding the power company surcharges? Nothing. And will they calculate the new three-phase power surge charges? I should be using a different power company for that. That's the goal, or that's the idea at least right now. So I'm hoping that gets through and we figure it out. Gandalf Gray says, ask Cyvatech, feeling pretty stoked on an Ergo node tutorial. Would you be willing to do a setup video on Filecoin mining? If hardware is an issue, I'm willing to buy it and send it to you. Yeah, I don't have hardware for a Filecoin guide at this time, but as far as the Ergo node goes, I'm actually struggling with it today as we speak. One of the things I'm running into is my Ergo node wallet won't send payments. Anytime I send it, it just sends it back to itself. So I don't know what's going on. Once I get that figured out and understand why that's happening, then we'll start working on the guide for it. It is one of those things where, like, I want to make sure everything's functioning proper. Daniel Kemper says, at Cyvatech, what do you know about Decred? I've seen it pumping and all the ASICs are extremely old. I haven't heard anything about Decred in quite some time. I'd be careful around the pump. And Paula says, at Cyvatech, thanks for all the info. Yes, sir. Anything and everything. Thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Synthesia Tutorials says, hey, son of a tech, I'm in the DFW dealing with the heat as much as you are. Ergo is the go-to to keep us cool. Yeah, and that's definitely been helpful. Paul says, ask son of a tech, if you go to the Las Vegas UFC fight, I hear they're cool mining hardware at Crazy Horse and Sapphire. They got Pool Club liquid cooling too. That'd be fun to check out if I end up over that way. Jacob says, at Son of a Tech, what would be the benefit of running your own node other than assisting and supporting the network? Specifically for a mining operation, what you end up with basically with lower latency between the miner and the actual node, right? So the thing that's important about that is the entire process of mining is certainly dependent on latency. And if you're directly submitting the block, you have a better chance at winning the block than you would if you didn't have your own infrastructure, because your latency is lower. So you'll submit it first or faster. Texas Ace says, ask Cyvatech, do you plan to keep mining at a loss after the merge, or will you shut down until it's profitable again? It will depend on how much cash flow I have, right? So if I have enough cash flow to keep it running, then we'll keep it running. I mean, if we don't, we don't. But that's tomorrow's problem, not today's problem, right? So once again, I think like it's extremely important to remain as stoic as possible in these situations if you expect to be successful. If you are just constantly under worry surrounding this, you're going to be a lot more likely to make poor decisions. Everything's good right now, right? So you look at it right now, we're up 20% today on revenue. Life's good, and we can continue to go through that process and wake up and be grateful for the 20% increase in revenue that we have right now, right? So that's kind of how I look at it. Nish Cool Dude says, ask Cyvatech, which Ergo wallet are you using? I mean, I use various wallets, right? So the Node wallet, Nautilus, Yori, depends on what I'm trying to do, right? So I've never been of the mindset of just like use one wallet. I always use a multitude of wallets depending on what I'm trying to do. Paper wallets, you know, if I'm trying to hold longer. Web wallets if I'm trying to connect to a specific dApp. Node wallets if I'm trying to solo mine. And the secret really there is too, is you can recover that key to any wallet. So it really doesn't matter where you generate the key. I mean, unless you're trying to do an offline wallet, and then it matters. But other than that, it really doesn't. Texas Ace says, that son of a tech, I agree. My plan is to shut down and buy GPUs or coins until GPUs are profitable again. Dun, 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 dun. Mm-hmm. The thumbnail really didn't propagate very fast, did it, today? Make sure you tag @SonOfATech with your questions so that I can find them easier in the chat. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything here, but I think we're all caught up now. Sanji says, @SonOfATech, is it wise to solo mine with 120 mega hash now? I mean, it really doesn't matter if you are just going to run 129 mega hash and not planning on because I think there's a lot of confusion surrounding solo mining, because a lot of people get these solo mining pools that give them like a luck percentage rate. And you need to understand, like, the luck percentage rate on a solo pool is just basically how much time it would have taken for you to earn a block just mining to a pool, right? So if it's 100%, that would be like, okay, well, if I was mining to the 2 miners pool instead of the 2 miners solo pool, I would have earned a block worth right by now, right? So the thing is like, it's a lot less about luck and a lot more about infrastructure. It's a lot more about latency than that luck percentage number that you get when you're solo mining. And so there's this like misconception that like, even if you like solo mine Bitcoin, that you have no chance at ever getting one, like it's like winning the lottery, when really in reality, because of the way the network works, you're just like you could even mine with one CPU to your own node with low latency, and you still have just as much of a chance as anybody else does to find that next block. The only thing being is your chances are lower because more people are doing it, right? So it is extremely risky, but I think there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding it. And I think there's a lot you can do to increase your advantage, like building your own node infrastructure, right? Alex Dua says, @SonOfATech, what is the go-to for dual mine at this moment? Doing CAS and ALF to reduce the ETH impact. What others would you recommend? I mean, those are really your only 2 options right now. You could add in for fun, you know, Zilliqa, but it's Zilliqa, you're going to stop mining ETH while you mine it, so it's a little different. And then you're kind of triple mining. Dan Sand says, @SonOfATech, which coins are you holding other than Bitcoin and Ergo? I mean, like, I have a ton of shit coins that are laying around, but nothing like incredible. I mean, the biggest hold that I probably have is Caspa, right? So, and that's just because I was spec mining Caspa before it was even listed on an exchange. Ted Park, thanks for the $5 Canadian. DJ Dorant says, @SonOfATech, why does the bomb go off before the merge? Won't the bomb delay the merge date? No, because like I said, the thing that everybody's missing is they haven't announced a block height. The reason they haven't announced a block height is they're going to wait probably for everything to settle in and then know what the hash rate and everything is going to be. They'll do it as close to the end as possible so that miners and stuff don't have a way to be malicious or anything. Chadwick says, @SonOfATech, it's my anniversary today. Keep up the good work. Congratulations on the anniversary, Chad. And Flux Solo Pool next. I am looking into it for sure, but I got to get this Ergo wallet figured out. The node wallet I'm having issues with. I'm working with Rob from GetBlock and a couple devs to figure out what's going on though. There were some node issues yesterday with Ergo, and ever since then my node wallet's just not working. Vlies number 7 says, I'm lucky as I get free power at the moment, but might drop away soon, and thinking of running solar during the day and grid at night. Selling the marine tank for this. Crypto all the way. Congratulations, Lees. Mindsum says, at Son of a Tech, what odds would you put on an attack on another coin before the merge? I don't know that there will be an attack on another coin. I mean, I guess if there were bad actors within the Ethereum Foundation that wanted to attack another competitor coin that's remaining proof of work, sure. But I don't really see that being a thing. There are debates as to whether or not that was performed on Ethereum Classic a few times to keep them behind and down. But at the end of the day, everything's going to get more security, right? And so, I mean, like a pre-merge attack is probably not going to happen. They've got it pretty figured out on Ethereum Classic, which would be the #1 target. But I don't see that being an issue. LZ says, at Son of a Tech, I will go on vacation for 3 weeks and will shut down my rigs for that time. How will Mining World look like when I'm back at the beginning of September? Any guesses? I think a lot of people are going to capitulate and sell off, right? And then the markets will begin to adjust, and then whatever the winner is will start to become apparent over the next year. And maybe through 2023, it gets really, really rough. I think a lot of people will quit, and whoever's left standing at the end will once again start reaping the rewards of another bull run, and whatever ends up taking its place as far as the second most profitable cryptocurrency to mine proof of work wise. But I think it'll be a lot of different people hunting for what they can do to survive. Anything and Everything says, at Son of a Tech is running a node, how the big farms have an advantage over regular pool miners. In a lot of cases, yes, right? If you have enough to be finding a block a day on any given network and you build your own node, you cut out the fees, right? So you're not paying anybody, any mining pool, a fee. And you are increasing your ability to actually submit blocks on the network. So at the end of the day, really, if you have enough, hash power to technically find a block per day based on the amount of hash rate you have per network or on a specific any given network, you're going to be way better off building your own node infrastructure out, because you're also going to reduce your fees by like up to 3% depending on what coin you're on, right? And what pool you're on. Chucky says, at Son of a Tech, I just joined and I don't know if you mentioned it yet, but you sure look like you bit your tongue today. Maybe. I don't know. I had a pretty good day. I rolled like I was on fire today at jiu-jitsu. Today and yesterday. I've been doing good. Feeling super good. A little less explosive, so I need to go get back on the box jumps, but we'll start adding those in again and get that explosiveness back. Anything and Everything says, as Son of a Tech, does the node latency have an impact in rewards advantage? Of course it does, because if you're submitting your block first and faster and winning the block faster than anybody else, you're obviously going to get more rewards than anybody else. Dan San says, ask Son of a Tech, why you make a Bitcoin node for fun? No, I'm mining to it. Simulacrum says, as Son of a Tech, Conflux has a proposal to change the algo to ETH hash. Do you think this would make Conflux a viable option for ETH hash ASICs and AMD cards? I hadn't heard the proposal on Conflux. That's interesting. It would be a smart move if they want to basically get some more security, because as of right now, most of the security is going to go to Ethereum Classic. So if a small coin wants to get basically some free security, that would be a smart move on their end, I think. Chadwick says, Ask Tech, let me know how I can help. I've been looking into the Flux node as well. Mining core stat appears to support Flux. There is no data out there on solo Flux on your own node. Yeah, and that is kind of one of the issues I have with Flux is they don't have that documentation as open to the public as other chains do. Just another one of those things where, you know, it puts that blip, you know, like the Metal Gear Solid like thing where you're like ding, and it throws up that red flag, right? Where you're like, okay, well, why don't they do that? And then why are these other things? You know, there's a lot of portions of Flux that throw up throw up red flags for me from the perspective of decentralization. Nathaniel Schroeder says, Ask Tech, with so much on the line, if the merge is delayed again, how likely do you feel it is that the ETH devs belittle testnet issues? I think that they will basically, I think it's a done deal. I think that they're going to force through the merge. The other thing is they have no more testnets left, right? So The problem is that here's the problem with testnets and all of them being merged. Sure, they could spin up another testnet, right? But the thing about the testnets that they merged, those testnets had a whole bunch of people utilizing them and devs on them. So they don't have the use case scenario anymore to continue testing. So it's almost like since they left no big testnets over or left for testing or so on, they're kind of, they just have to do it, like, or it would have to get delayed indefinitely essentially, because they would have to spin up another test net, get all of the basically users to get back on that test net and get it to the point to where it's a viable test for the main net. And like, that would just take too much time and the coin would collapse in the meantime, to be completely frank. Vlice7 says, how quick do you think we see miners quit? Won't we be able to see this in a few weeks already? No, I mean, what are we in? August 11th? I think some miners, obviously, there is a portion of the miners right now that have a perspective of worry. They're worried. They're concerned. It's not unjustified. I get it completely. But those will be the ones that'll start capitulating and selling off all their rigs right now, right? So yes, that will be happening over the next few weeks as they get scared, and that fear will drive the mining market. And I think at the end of the day, though, we're going to see most people at this point continue through. I think most of the people that sold off their stuff did it back in like earlier this year. So I don't think that is as big of a concern. We will start to see profits drop at the beginning of September as the difficulty bomb starts to artificially increase the difficulty. But I think the price is going to make up for most of that, because I think the price is going to follow. I think the price is going to go up pretty significantly. If I had to place my bets, right? Once again, not financial advice, just what I'm looking at. Yeti Craft says, Ask Tech, can a dummy build a node? I don't have any IT background. I think IT background would be needed, yes, especially some sort of Linux background and GitHub background would be ideal for building your own nodes. GoldenEye Forever Calm says, Ask Tech, thoughts on Daniel's interview? He sure changed his stance on proof of stake. Also, I noticed they didn't cheer the idea of hash rate coming to Flux post-merge. He was subdued about that, and he's curious. Well, I think there's a lot of problems that we have already exposed. I mean, especially when we took a look at the situation with the NETA, which is very telling in a bear market as to what happens, which is you get selling pressure on the network when you get a bunch of miners on the network, right? And I think that could be part of it. But they are supporting other proof of work. You know, they prioritized a proof of work coin for a parallel asset. So I don't think he's negative on proof of work, if that's the question. I didn't get that at all. As far as preparing for it, like, I think if you are looking from an infrastructure standpoint, you know, a bunch of miners coming onto the network and not being prepared for it, you could end up with a lot of issues, right? And there's a lot more that goes into that too, because the fact of the matter is that most miners go to like mining pool stats and they pick the top pool, right? So they pick the top pool, and then you end up having issues with potential for attacks. Then we also have a whole bunch of miners that will probably switch to nice hash, giving bad actors an outlet for attacks on networks. I think, like we were talking about attacks on networks running up to the merge, I think the attacks come after the merge, right? So I think the attacks come from miners pointing to nice hash, and then bad actors using that hash rate on nice hash to start attacking networks. And then we have a $49.99 ZAR super chat from Flies, number 7. Thank you, good sir. Alex Dewis says, ask Simon Tech, wife bug you about the leg bouncing? Yep, for sure. You do that too. Yeah, I have that problem as far as like the restless leg syndrome, but I always say that's what keeps me skinny. Gaming Vid says, at Son of a Tech, I think we will see blockchain used as a voting mechanism before it being used as a currency. I think it is being used as a currency though, Gaming Vid. So I don't know that I would agree with that, right? So it's pretty clear. I mean, we are seeing bans though. I think we didn't talk about it. It was one I really wanted to talk about. I think earlier today. Let me go see if I can pull this up because it was really important. I might not be able to find it right now. Well, the article covered, wish there was a search. They want to ban banks from holding crypto, but the reason is, well, okay. So here's the article I'm referencing. Make sure that pulled up because this is kind of not what we were going to do today, but developing countries should introduce widespread restrictions on crypto usage given the risks to tax collection, monetary policy, and financial stability, and ban banks from holding crypto, the United Nations Development Arm said in 3 reports published Thursday. Where this is coming from is essentially to give you guys an idea. What crypto has already been proving to do is hedge against severe inflation in third world countries. We talk about cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin gets thrown around a lot for hedge against inflation. It's not really Bitcoin that's the hedge against inflation. It's the ease of access to other currencies provided by blockchains. And the examples we can use is both Argentina and Paraguay here recently, where they had a huge surge in the increase in purchasing of stable coins on different exchanges. The reason for this is because basically in both of those countries, they were experiencing great inflation. And unless you were of a certain class, right? So a certain financial or economic class, you didn't have access to banks that allowed you to purchase reserve currency like the US dollar. And so the everyday Joe, to protect their funds, was able to use cryptocurrency to adjust this. Now, what the UN is essentially saying is this is to protect against, of course, the further collapse of these third world countries. But in reality, what it is that they want these governments to stay in place so that they can manipulate them to, participate within their own ecosystem. So these bans are going to become more popular, I think, across unilaterally, right? So the UN Conference of Trade and Development, UNCTAD, warns that the rising of use of crypto for domestic payments and by migrant workers sending funds back to home challenges states' authority in monetary matters. Hell yeah, it does. Hell yeah, it does. That is the entire point of it. And you see, we talked about this a lot. And I still will highly recommend taking a listen to, of course, The Sovereign Individual via audiobook, or purchase it and read it for yourself to understand what's happening here. Everything that they talk about is coming to fruition with the digital age. The last and final portion here being, of course, the financial autonomy. And with financial autonomy, the dissolution of the nation states happens. What is this? This is basically the migrant workers, and everybody doesn't basically they don't need state approval to move their money back and forth anymore due to cryptocurrency. And so this is a lot less about making money and a lot more about, in my humble opinion, the enabling, general regular people to transact without the need of a third party or a government. There's going to be a huge pushback on this, and there's going to be regulations. We will probably all be found as criminals for participating in cryptocurrency at any point at the end of the day, unless, of course, it's pertaining to a central bank digital currency. And the reason for this is they have to demonize it. That's why you see in Kazakhstan them basically saying that these people are part of crypto mining gangs and trying to raid houses and find any sort of evidence they can to demonize them. As little as one single AK-47 across a whole bunch of people in a third world country, and they're going to say, well, they have firearms, right? This is going to be the attack policy. But the thing is it can't really be stopped. And I think if you listen to The Sovereign Individual, you understand that this can't really be stopped. At the end of the day, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And there will be a dissolution of the nation states. It will be a lot less about essentially having one single nation entity that is going to control a people and their monetary well-being. And I think that is why we will see some more stuff like this. The agency advised imposing higher taxes on crypto transactions, requiring exchanges and wallets to register with regulators against crypto policy, against crypto, principles here, and curbing or forbidding crypto ads. Quote, the benefits that cryptocurrencies may bring to some individuals and financial institutions are overshadowed by the risks and costs they entail, particularly in developing countries. Why is that? Because, the people that are in control of developing countries cannot dig into the pockets of their citizens. They also said, citing risks such as tax evasion and losses from price swings that might need to be bailed out by central banks. The document advises countries to ban regulated financial institutions from holding stablecoins and cryptocurrencies or offering related products to clients. Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies that seek to maintain their value with respect to an established fiat currency such as the US dollar. But they don't always succeed, as the recent collapse of Terra USD showed. Not, of course, pointing out that was due to a failed algorithmic stablecoin, but that's okay. Figures cited by them show crypto is particularly popular in Russia, Ukraine, and Venezuela, 3 countries affected by sanctions. And as I've said, from a principled standpoint, I don't think that crypto should be sanctioned. I don't think that you can sanction it. And the fact is what we see is people not able to control it as much as they want. So the other thing here is you can have a sanction against a country, but you shouldn't ever judge all the people within that country, right? The thing that cryptocurrency is doing is enabling the good people within these countries to detach from their bad actor governments, right? So it actually ends up being a positive note in the end, because you have the individual that is trying to do the right thing not have to be tied to a particular nation state that is doing the wrong thing. And eventually it gets to the point to where the thing is, we all throughout the world have a lot more in common than we do not have in common, right? And the internet exposes that, I think, in general, over like time and time again. Sure, we're going through growing pains as far as that is concerned, but I am sure I have some things in common with someone in Russia and in Ukraine and Venezuela. That doesn't mean that I condone the actions of their government. In fact, most governments, I would condemn the actions of most governments, including the United States and the Western world. But I bet that I still have some similarities to someone in Russia or Ukraine or Venezuela, where I want to take care of my family and my kids and have them have a good life and train them in the ways of, basically how the world works and what's more important. And I bet that becomes more of a primary focus once we can dissolve these kind of this pettiness between countries that are just trying to control their people and manipulate it to hurt other people. As of November 2021, 41 developing countries had either prohibited banks from dealing in crypto or prevented exchanges from offering crypto to retail investors, and 9 have banned crypto outright, the report said. Standard setters are reviewing how conventional banks should interact with the world of crypto and are leaning towards imposing a cap on holdings of assets such as Bitcoin. Other international organizations have proposed extra curbs intended to shore up money laundering rules, capital controls, and tax collection. And that is really where we're at the end of the day. This does come down to primarily tax collection, because they want to collect taxes and use that to obviously increase the net worth of any individual country. You should be very careful around all the FUD surrounding that as well. They try to demonize, people for not wanting to pay taxes. But at the same time, instead of taking $40 billion in the US, for example, to, help the homeless or build infrastructure or invest in manufacturing, they send it to Ukraine to fund wars. And at the end of the day, I think, like I said on Twitter the other day, there becomes a point when paying taxes becomes immoral. And that point probably comes when you're killing women and children abroad. That's how I feel, at least. Chadwick says, Asamatech agreed on the obfuscated nature of Flux mining. We'll power through it, though. Yeah, it's good to learn it, right? Nathaniel Schroeder says, Asamatech 3090 Ti at 1150, a deal for mining. The 3090 Ti is definitely better than the 3090, and I think at 1150, it probably does make sense. I don't know. It could come down more. I think that's the best price I've heard of it for 3090 Ti. And the thing is you will get that 130 mega hash pretty consistently, thanks to them moving the memory modules to the front of the GPU or the front of the PCB. Andres Morris says, hi, son of a tech. What do you think about the new ETHW? I think it's a scam and you should just stick with ETH Classic personally. Vice number 7 says, ask son of a tech, do you have any interest in Decentraland or Metaverse? Not really too much. I think it could just be a distraction at the end of the day more than anything. If there are clever ways to increase learning or education, then I think that would be viable. Andre Morris says, Ask Tech, what do you think? I already answered that. Gaming Vid says, Ask Tech, you're completely right. Even just read the goal for Cardano. My point was more on the fact that it will take successful application of blockchain and government applications for them to take it seriously. No, they're taking it seriously. They are taking it seriously. I wouldn't worry about that. Seven Ho says, keep calm and mine on. Yes, sir. You can find that t-shirt down below. We got a few more minutes for questions and answers. Maybe we can go a little bit longer, but I do want to run out to the farm and check on some stuff in general. I think we covered quite a few things here that I didn't get to cover earlier today. There's just a lot of news going on this week, and there's a ton of stuff to cover. Alex Dua says, ask Summotech, this is why the IRS needs more people. Well, yeah, they need more people because it's going to be extremely difficult to monitor everybody, and they don't want to be taking the money from the top 1% because that funds the government and the politicians. They want to, as we see, take money from people that make under $400,000 a year. They want to take it from the people that can't say no. They can't influence who gets paid and who decides to, influence bills or lobby with them. They want to take it from the people that have no control because it's easier to take away stuff from people that don't have as much control over the situation. Mining Pirate says, ask Amatech, I cannot send Ergo from my node, or I cannot either, Mining Pirate, right now, which is an issue that I'm working on right now. If I find the answer, that's good to know that somebody else has it too, or having the issue. Kind of not good. Like, obviously, that sucks for you. It sucks for me too. I think I have like 96 ERG in this one node wallet that I'm trying to figure out. And hopefully somebody gets to work on it for us here at some point and we figure out what's going on, but I'm not really sure. I am hearing that apparently it has to do with EIP 27 settings actually right now. So maybe we'll have a fix for that in just a second. I'll post it on my locals page at sonofitech.locals if I get a quick fix for it. Is the 3090 Ti better than the 3090 on thermals? Yes. Fried Electronics says, ask Summotech, do you watch other crypto YouTubers and do you plan to have any collabs soon? Not really. I try to focus on doing my own thing and coming up with my own. So I pay attention to crypto a lot. I do pay attention when other crypto YouTubers post stuff, but most of it, no. One, when you become a content creator and you're trying to do a lot of stuff, you kind of also don't have the time to sit there and watch everybody else's content as well as get through your own and get it out. And then on top of that, I also try to make sure that I stay objective as possible. So I don't want a ton of influence over the way I perceive things. I like being corrected, but I think like chat and YouTube and you guys will take care of that. I think being corrected by the audience is more advantageous than maybe being swayed, having a swayed perception from consuming too much of somebody else's content. Ted Park says, ask Amatech, what have you done to help your 3090 thermals? Replace pads in thermal paste and, put them in X8s octominers, which has helped a lot. And then I was looking at actually doing more of something fun, but I'm going to keep that close to the chest right now. Danny says, ask Amatech, I get the server PSU or Platinum ATX PSU with the same watt price. Which would you say to go out of experience? Neither one's better for mining in general. I think like the ATX PSU, you will end up having less, PCIe plugs off of them. So you're going to get more plugs off of the server PSU with a breakout board. The needed plugs for a mining rig, right? The ATX power supply is going to have rails that's going to run to other things, right? So you'll have rails that run to, your SATA power or whatever it may be, which means at the end of the day, you're actually not getting as much power, right? So Technically, on an ATX PSU, you're not getting as much power as you are with a server PSU, because the server PSU can basically use a breakout board that powers exactly what you need it to power. While on the ATX, you're going to have leftover rails that have a dedicated amount of power to them for basically components that you'll never use. TRV says, Ask Tech, have you seen the HiveOS public stats page? It provides what I think is useful info and could be included in the show. I'll check it out, and that is a good idea. Mining Pirate says, Ask Tech, I have mined 1 block on my pool. I see a reward on my pool is 48, but in the node wallet, it's 60. That is because 12 of that is going to go to a re-emissions contract, Mining Pirate. Also, if you're having trouble sending, but you have all the right settings set, it may be because you need 750 confirmations on a newly minted block before you can send it out. Flights number 7 says, I do notice a lot of other YouTubers refer to you a lot, so good job on being a pillar of the community. Well, thanks, Flights. I do try to do my best. I think there's definitely smarter people out there, but I try to stay as educated as possible. Amigos uses a Bitmain PSU. You can do that, yeah. Knowledge of Power says, Ask Tech, is the Ergo mobile wallet a good wallet? I haven't tried. I mean, it depends on which. I mean, there's multiple mobile wallets. I don't think I've used the official Ergo mobile wallet. Is there an official Ergo mobile wallet? Oh, no, I haven't used a mobile wallet. Sorry. I don't use mobile wallets. That is one thing. I don't use mobile wallets. I don't like obviously, like crypto.com's like the only mobile wallet, but it's already a centralized exchange. So, I mean, like whatever, but I'm not a big fan of keeping funds on a mobile device. Mobile devices are inherently insecure, and there's almost no way to fully secure them no matter how much you try. I just don't think that there's too many attack vectors, and I'm not comfortable with keeping, wallets on my mobile phone. Alex Duas says, I water cooled all my 3090 using these. They have thick plates, water cooled front and back of the card. Nice. Paul D says, Ask Tech, is it true you wrecked DJ Mines in StarCraft 2? I haven't played StarCraft 2 with DJ Mines. No, I haven't played StarCraft 2 in a long time. I mean, I used to. I was diamond level, but that was, back in my young days when I still had some sort of reaction times. My APM was 285, and at the time, I think most of the Korean guys were around 300 to 315. So I was good enough to keep up, mostly in North America. But not good enough to keep up anywhere else. And now I bet my APM would be like 90 or some shit. You have to practice and like get the... I mean, it's an intense game. StarCraft and StarCraft 2 are intense games where you just need to not only know what you need to do, but hit the right button and get the right actions per minute, right? And know your build orders. Anything and everything says, that's Tech. I have asked run on Flux support to see if it's possible to mine to my Flux node. No, you can't mine to a Flux node. You can mine to a traditional node for Flux. They're two completely different things. Anything, everything. I can already answer that for you. We already talked about that in the interview with Daniel Keller. Age of Empires 2 is significantly easier than StarCraft, Gabe. But it's a fun game. I don't think it has much higher strategy necessarily, but we could get into that argument. I haven't played the new Age of Empires. I do need to try it out. It's installed on my computer, but I haven't tried it. Samsiak TV says, ask Simatech, what is your electricity price per kilowatt hour? Well, that's up in the air. We don't know. I wish I knew. That's part of the problem I'm having. Anything, everything says, ask Simatech, time for a true cold wallet video. I'm not really clear regarding Trezor or others. Now, let's be extremely clear. Hardware wallets are not cold wallets. They're at best warm wallets, especially most of them they're out today because they require some sort of internet to actually start up. That's not all of them, and we'll be talking about that, but I do need to do some coverage on that because there seems to be some misconceptions. Most of your hardware wallets, the thing that they add into there is some sort of two-factor or multi-factor authentication where you essentially have to have the device to plug it in to access your wallet. Other than that, they're not necessarily what I would call cold wallets. As soon as you plug it into a computer that's connected to the internet, that makes it a warm wallet. Well, I haven't watched any of that, so thanks for the update. Protoss won GSL recently after years of Terran dominance. I didn't know. I haven't been paying attention to most of the esports lately. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. So I think we're going to have that come up pretty soon. Frederick says, Ask Simatech, this is just a reminder that we appreciate you. Thank you, good sir. Toll PC Lab says, Ask Simatech, I've been using ATX power supply from the LC Power 1800 watt gold single plus 12 rail 142 amps. Really? Wait, hold on. That doesn't make sense. 20 PCI Express 6x2 pins does not know to fail. Yeah, you're still going to get better power efficiency out of a platinum rated power supply. Toll PC Lab. All right, boys. I'm going to call it. I'm going to go work on this Ergo node a little bit more, and I got to run out to the farm and check a couple things. I think I will be live tonight on twitch.tv/blindrun, but I don't know what I'll be doing yet. This is going to suffice as the video for today because I didn't really have a lot of time to get some videos done. My weekdays are just incredible. Frozen says, Ask Simatech, I don't think that's correct. Hardware wallets essentially cold wallets because the secret keys are stored on the device and cannot access even when plugged in. When you plug it in and you originally generate your wallet, it gives you and displays the secret keys and your recovery phrase on the screen. It depends on which one you use. But in a lot of cases, they do. And if it's connected, people can still... So here's the other thing. If it's connected to a PC that's connected to the internet, it is then connected thereby to the internet. So there's potential for exploit. I just want to make sure that's clear. Like if you've plugged it in, if you plugged a hardware wallet into a PC that has access to the internet, it is no longer a cold wallet. Guillermo, thanks for the $5 super chat sticker. Thanks for watching, boys. I'll see you next Tuesday.